now to see what's making news around the world.
As the Palisades and Eaton wildfires continue to burn, red flag warnings have been issued across Southern California, with more dangerous fire conditions forecast.
We are taking an aggressive lean-forward posture, strategically placing fire patrols and engines in the unimpacted, high fire risk areas in the city.
Almost 90,000 people remain under evacuation orders. The death toll has risen to 25. Most of the fatalities have been attributed to the Eaton fire. And despite AI images showing the contrary, the Hollywood sign is still standing. The Princess of Wales has revealed she's in remission after paying a visit to the London hospital where she received her cancer treatment. Now joint patron of the Royal Marsden with Prince William, she thanked the staff for their exceptional care and support and met with patients receiving chemo and immunotherapy.
She seemed to really have an understanding of what they were going through.
And officials are scrambling to verify reports Australian man Oscar Jenkins, taken prisoner while fighting for Ukraine, has been killed by Russian soldiers. Australia may expel Russia's ambassador if the 32-year-old's death is confirmed.
If there has been any harm caused to Oscar Jenkins, the Australian government will take the strongest action possible.
It's quite a story. Former Australian soldier and international law consultant Dr Glenn Kolomeitz is here with us now to discuss this. Glenn, what do you think has happened to Oscar Jenkins?
Look, we know that Oscar was captured by the Russians. We know he was being held in a temporary holding area. And we understand that the Ukrainians have drone footage of remains of a body which they're saying is Oscar. So, look, it certainly looks like if the Russians haven't killed him, then he was in their custody when he died. Either way, the Russians are in the frame. But right now we have Australian members of the Legion out in that location where the drone was, trying to get some sort of confirmation. It's up in the air, but I'm fairly certain that he's dead, and the Russians are certainly involved.
Glenn, this whole story is just so strange. Is there more to it than what we're being told?
Absolutely there is. It's very unusual. In fact, it doesn't happen. Russia don't kill captured international legionnaires because they have such enormous political value, information operations and leverage against the country that the legionnaires from. And we saw them using the information operations when they released that footage of Oscar being interrogated. So for them to have intentionally killed a legionnaire when that sort of value is there, it's very, very surprising. I suspect that the Ukrainians had waged a counter-offensive or something against these Russian positions, and they had to stage a rapid withdrawal. And I suspect that they've killed him because he would have been a logistical liability when they were in the withdrawal. Or alternately, Russian field units have such poor leadership. There's no leadership below the junior officer level that some young Russian conscript has killed him without realising the sort of value in holding a captured international legionnaire.
Do we know why Oscar felt compelled to go over to Ukraine?
Look, I suspect it's a bit of altruism, to be honest. Ukraine is in the middle of an existential fight against the Russian aggressor, and I was over there living and working with legionnaires who are all ex-military, and they were there for the same sort of reasons, not for the money. You don't get paid very well in the Legion, but look, I think he was just trying to do the right thing, and he was trying to fight to help Ukraine in this fight, and good on him, to be honest. Good on him.
Glenn, do you know how many Australians are actually over there fighing?
Look, I think it's fair to say about 30. Getting around the country now. Early on, there was more, I understand, but as the conflict dragged on and we lost a few, we didn't get quite as many on the ground over there.
Well, if what you think has happened and Oscar's death is confirmed, how should the Australian government react?
Australia should be, I think, at the least, recalling our ambassador from Moscow and sending the Russian ambassador packing as a bit of a diplomatic effort, at least. It's a message, right? But there's not a lot more they can do. If it does turn out that Oscar did die whilst he was in Russian custody, then there has to be an investigation. Australia can push for that or even can assist with that. They could send people like myself over to look into that, to investigate that. But at the moment, I think diplomatic efforts are about all they can do.
It'll be fascinating when the facts come out, if indeed they do, Glenn. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks, guys.